Hello everyone. I want to welcome you on our next webinar from a DigiFoF webinar series. Today, our topic will be circular economy, introduction, and exemplary initiatives. Presenters today will be Coralie Néron and Nadine Dubois. Before we dive into the technical aspects and the content, I would like to tell a few words about how this webinar is going to take place. So, generally, as in the case of previous webinar, and this will be recorded. If you have any questions, do feel free to type your questions in the chat window, and at the very end of our session, we'll have Q&A part. And now, let me give floor to colleagues from CERID and École des Mines. So, Coralie, floor is yours.
Hello. We're getting ready.
Everything looks perfect. You're good to go.
Okay. So today we are going to focus on circular economy, and we'll try to answer what's circular economy, what's linear economy, and how can we link circular economy to factory of the future. So Coralie, first of all, how to define linear economy?
So Nadine, linear economy is traditionally follows the take, make, use, and dispose model. So in other words, it means that raw materials are collected, then transformed into products, which are used until they are finally discarded as waste. Value is created in this economic system by producing and selling as many products as possible. But we are living in a world of finite resources, meaning there are limits to growth. Our way of life, based on a linear economy, is responsible for increasing pressure on global resources and climate. To go further in the topic of linear economy, we can have a look and get a deeper knowledge on linear economy through the Earth Overshoot Day. Maybe you've already heard about it. So the Earth Overshoot Days mark the date when humanity's demand for ecological resources and services in a given year exceed what Earth can regenerate in that year. According to the Global Footprint Network, we keep growing this deficit by liquidating the Earth's natural capital and by accumulating waste, primarily carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So in other words, we live on credit. As you can see on the chart, Earth Overshoot Day is arriving sooner each year because we use more and more of the Earth's natural resources. So in 2019, the Earth Overshoot Day was meant to be on July 29. According to the Global Footprint Network, this Earth Overshoot Day has moved up the calendar by 2 months over the past 20 years. So it's a huge gap just between 20 years. And we can see that every year the date is moving forwards every year. The Earth Overshoot Days can also be seen by country. Per country, we can have a look on this and see what the consumption can be according to every country. So for example, in Finland, the Earth Overshoot Day is meant to be in 2019, it was meant to be on April 6th. In Germany, it was meant to be on May 3rd. In France, May 14th. In Italy, May 15th. In Portugal, May 26th, and in Romania, July 12th. So when you look at the slide, you can see for different countries that the dates are really different from one country to another, depending on the production and consumption of the natural resources of the Earth.
Thanks for this explanation. Now, can you explain us what's wrong with linear economy?
So as we said, we live in a world of finite resources. So there are limits to growth. We cannot grow unlimited. Linear economy has serious consequences on the environment, such as climate change, water shortage, desertification, but it also contributes to biodiversity loss and has impact on resource scarcity, and potentially it can affect social crisis and political instability. So in more general, economic instability can be also affected by the linear economy.
So we are facing a real challenge. Can you tell us how to combine globalization, economic growth, environmental challenge, and improving well-being?
So part of the solution lies in the change of paradigm. We need to move from linear economy to circular economy. We need to switch from one model to another one because circular economy provides a coherent framework for system-level redesign, and it also offers an opportunity to harness innovation, creativity to enable a positive, restorative economy. Circular economy is the answer to tackle economic growth and answer environmental challenges. The European Commission gave us the following definition for circular economy. So as you can read, in a circular economy, the value of products and materials is maintained for as long as possible. Waste and resource use are minimized, and when a product reaches the end of its life, it is used again to create further value. This can bring major economic benefits, contributing to innovation, growth, and job creation. And if we have a look to industries, then these industries can save costs, they can unlock new business opportunities. So it's a way to foster innovation and to open new challenges, new opportunities for this company. It is also a matter of preserving resources and reducing, avoiding waste, and mainly, that's one of the most important things, to take into account the well-being of the individuals. We can also have a quick look at this infographic, which was developed by a French environmental agency called ADEME. And this organization proposed to see the circular economy into 7 pillars distributed along the value chain, which results into the desire to facilitate appropriation of the concept by those involved in each step of the life cycle product. So as you can see, if you take the whole life cycle of products, it would mean we have to take care into consideration the extraction, manufacturing of the resources, but also eco-designing the products and services, maybe trying to set up industrial and territorial ecology, to set up functional economy, so to take into account the use instead of the belonging of the product, but also thinking about the product lifespan by reusing, repairing, and recycling the products. The consumption is also one of the big steps into circular economy. We have to be more aware of what we buy, and how we use it. And finally, recycling is one of the big pillars, but also a whole area. But even if it's very important, there are so many steps which can be made before that. We can also take into account this infographic, which was designed by Ellen MacArthur Foundation, Sun and McKinsey Center for Business and Environment. The difference which is put in advance is that there is a biological cycle versus a technical cycle. For the biological cycle, the loops are smaller and fewer, considering that the technological cycle have more steps, more cycle, and is mainly more energy consuming. So this is also a very interesting infographic to set up a new circular economy strategy within a company. On top of that, I would like to add that circular economy is not simply a question of adding up good individual practices, but it's also about integrating the whole value chain and the multi-stakeholder cooperation, which is essential to develop the systemic responses to the 21st century resources issues.
It's a real challenge, very interesting. Now just have a look to a video.
Living systems have been around for a few billion years and will be around for many more. In the living world, there's no landfill. Instead, materials flow. One species' waste is another's food, Energy is provided by the sun, things grow, then die, and nutrients return to the soil safely. And it works. Yet as humans, we've adopted a linear approach. We take, we make, and we dispose. A new phone comes out, so we ditch the old one. Our washing machine packs up, so we buy another. Each time we do this, we're eating into a finite supply of resources and often producing toxic waste. It simply can't work long term. So what can? If we accept that the living world's cyclical model works, can we change our way of thinking so that we too operate a circular economy? Let's start with the biological cycle. How can our waste build capital rather than reduce it? By rethinking and redesigning products and components, and the packaging they come in, we can create safe and compostable materials that help grow more stuff. As they say in the movies, no resources have been lost in the making of this material. So what about the washing machines, mobile phones, fridges? We know they don't biodegrade. Here, we're talking about another sort of rethink, a way to cycle valuable metals, polymers, and alloys so they maintain their quality and continue to be useful beyond the shelf life of individual products. What if the goods of today became the resources of tomorrow? It makes commercial sense. Instead of the throw away and replace culture we've become used to, we'd adopt a return and renew one, where products and components are designed to be disassembled and regenerated. One solution may be to rethink the way we view ownership. What if we never actually owned our technologies? We simply licensed them from the manufacturers. Now, let's put these two cycles together. Imagine if we could design products to come back to their makers, their technical materials being reused and their biological parts increasing agricultural value. And imagine that these products are made and transported using renewable energy. Here we have a model that builds prosperity long term. And the good news is, there are already companies out there who are beginning to adopt this way of working. But the circular economy isn't about one manufacturer changing one product. It's about all the interconnecting companies that form our infrastructure and economy coming together. It's about energy. It's about rethinking the operating system itself. We have a fantastic opportunity to open new perspectives and new horizons. Instead of remaining trapped in the frustrations of the present, with creativity and innovation, we really can rethink and redesign our future.
It could be a good summary of your explanation. So we are going to continue, and I would like to know if you are some example of circular economy solution in companies.
I can introduce two examples of circular economy. The first one is Barbier Group, which is a company which produces plastic film for three sectors. First one is industry, second one agriculture, and the last one is bagging. So the Barbier Group starting to recycle plastic by reintroducing its own product offcuts within its recycling activity. Then they started buying used films from its customer, and little by little they developed a real recycling activity within the production. It is a way for the company to integrate the full value chain of plastic from beginning to the end. It's a real cradle-to-cradle example. And this initiative helps to reduce the need for oil resources, but it is also a way to optimize the use of the material and make it accessible locally. It's also a way to reduce the reliance of factories on a supply of highly concentrated raw materials from a few large suppliers. And it carries out recycling within the group It's also a guarantee of quality. A very good quality materials are required to integrate into production. Previously, products using recycled materials were considered as very low-end products, like with really bad quality. But now the reverse is true. Customers are asking for this product, and it is a really good example which need to be promoted.
You have another example?
Yes, second example is Picture Organic Clothing. Picture Organic Clothing is an outdoor clothing brand. The three founders are passionate about both sports, and from scratch, they wanted to give an environmental dimension to their brand. So they started to really commit the brand to sustainable development, and they started to find new ideas, new solutions for their products. They had a very good innovation strategy in terms of production method, but also production characteristics. So you can see like different examples, like eco-designing products, using of recycled, organic, or biosourced material for 100% of products. They also have developed a fair wear foundation label factories, which aims to improve working conditions. The brand is recognized for its initiatives, such as all the examples we've seen, and are complementary and contribute to reducing CO2 emissions. For example, growing organic cotton, in addition to preserving biodiversity and soils, emits up to 94% less greenhouse gas than crops treated with pesticide and chemical fertilizer. So it's also a very good example. Picture Organic Clothing is showing us a very strong strategy based on the environmental dimension to the brand. And it's a very famous brand for all the environmental examples they've done through all the products they are selling now.
Thank you for all these examples, especially industrial examples. Now, can you tell us more about the link between circular economy and factory of future?
So yes, it's interesting to link these two topics, circular economy and factory of the future, because FoF has to be sustainable because of what we've all seen together at the beginning of the presentation. We need in every topic, in every value chains, to consider the current challenging, whether they are from economic, environmental, or social challenges. Everything is linked. Factory of the future has to face the reality of the economic system because the planet is with limited resources, as we spoke before. And the environmental awareness and reorientation of the production system are the key to a sustainable development of production activity, but also for consumption. Circular economy is a necessity because we need to include a developed factory of the future, which will enable cost saving, optimization of the use of the resources, but not only. Beyond the necessity, factory of the future needs to implement circular economy because it's a great way for factory of the future to foster innovation, to create new businesses opportunities as well. And finally, I would like to link circular economy to digital, because from now on, we cannot dissociate circular economy from digital development. Digital is a great decision support tool for circular economy. It's very useful for monitoring, evaluating, and also for traceability. But we should not deny the fact that digital also has huge impact on the environment. We could talk about the energy impact of data centers, the multiplication of energy-consuming digital equipment, pollution, production of waste. And if some argue that the solution to reduce our impact on the environment lies in digital solution, but this statement doesn't take into account the impact of digital itself on the environment. I will conclude by saying that part of the solution lies in measuring the impact of digital solution, but also in measuring life cycle of our products and services to head towards green IT and digital solution with low environmental impact.
Thank you so much, Coralie, for all this information. Now, perhaps you can answer some questions relating to this theme. Perhaps I can ask the first question. Based on your observation at CIRID, Do you think that French companies are ready to make their model evolve by integrating the circular economy?
Yeah, so first of all, I would say that there is probably a lack of awareness on the current situation, the challenges we are facing, whether they are economic, environmental, and social. For some of the companies, it's not so obvious that we have to enter a real transition. And then I would say that the first step to implement a circular economy strategy can be very complicated for companies. So it's worth being helped or supported to evolve and make necessary changes in the working practices.
Okay, so perhaps we can take some questions. Zbigniew, I don't know how to read the question.
It is sufficient to expand chat. I have one question. In the Earth Overshoot Day, you had very interesting graphics, but I see that not all countries are taken into account there. For example, I could not see Poland. Could you tell me if there is a way to access more complete data so that participants could check their own countries?
Yeah, so you're right. Actually, not all the countries are represented on the slide because it's just like a limited examples, let's say, of countries overshoot day. But you can refer to a table which is published on overshootday.org for a more complete list of countries. So you will see like almost all the countries and the overshoot day which is linked to them on the website.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I do not see any further questions in the chat, so if any of you has questions, it is a good time to put them in.
We can just say that there is at the hand of the slide some references. If some people want to go further, they can click on the link and have more information.
Okay, I don't see any more questions, so thank you very, very much for a very interesting presentation. It was very interesting to see how our actions within Industry 4.0 can have a broader impact, not only producing faster, cheaper, but also making sure that the whole aspect of environment friendliness is also taken into account. So thank you very much for covering this very important topic.
Thank you very much for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
And for all of you, thanks for participating. And I want to welcome you. I will be happy to welcome you on the next webinar in about a month of the DigiFoF series. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.